Hey guys, Ultra Maximus here, and this is my sixth video in a series of top 10 movies through different genres like comedy, sci-fi, um, horror, comic books, all that kind of good stuff. So this genre is action adventure, and I kind of put both of these together, both adventure movies and action movies, because they can kind of go hand in hand. So let's take a look at the top 10 action adventure flicks, and keep in mind this is not because they were the biggest, they were the best, they were the highest grossing, or what stars were in it. It's my top 10 and why I put them in my list. So let's take a look. All right, at number 10, we have Dirty Harry. And this is another great Clint Eastwood flick. This is after his spaghetti western era. This is where he gets into his cop movie era type films that he's making. And this is a classic series. Dirty Harry is based off of a series of novels. And basically, if you've never seen this, he is a San Francisco inspector. His name was uh, Harry Dirty Callahan, or Dirty Harry Callahan. I'm sorry, Callahan. And he was going after a serial killer basically in the series, and it's just, he's got the 44 Magnum, and we'll forever know the one question you got to ask yourself: do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk, with the gun staring down? That is action cop movie magic, and that's why it's number 10. All right, so number 9, we've got Mad Max. This is one of Mel Gibson's, if not his first uh, movie. And we get a series of this. This is where we first see Mel Gibson in a lot of his action movies. He's a virtual unknown at this point. We've got two great sequels, The Road Warrior and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. But this is where it started it all. It's kind of post-apocalyptic. Law and order starts to break down. It's a little science fictiony in the fact it's kind of apocalyptic, but we don't get a lot of real super science fiction type technology. So I kind of always put it back into the action sequence. It just happens society's broke down, and it's in the future. It takes place in a dystopian Australia future, and Max basically, he's dealing with a berserk motorcycle gang and them just causing total upheaval, and just what people have to do to survive. And it's really kind of told in an old Western style, but with, future apocalyptic vision. Great flick. All right, number 8 on my list of action adventures is Die Hard. Bruce Willis, and I believe this is his first big movie role from Moonlighting. And when we think action movies, we think Die Hard. Yippee ki yay, motherfucker! Awesome. His character is the epitome of the action superstar, where he's dealing with terrorists. He's in a tower, and he's got to go through. He's got like 12 guys he's got to take out, and he's just a cop by himself. McClane basically goes through this thing, and he does it barefoot. He goes through this entire movie barefoot, which is awesome. You can't really go wrong with this film if you're an action buff, and that's why it's in the top 10. All right, so number 7, we've got Romancing the Stone. Michael Douglas. It's a great flick. I kind of think of this sometimes as Indiana Jones light. It's kind of got that flavor. It's a modern day story. It's a reporter. She's going down looking for her brother, I think, right? Is it brother or sister, looking for a sibling, and this photographs he's taken of some drug cartel. She's a romance novelist, and she gets involved in this adventure where Douglas's character is basically smuggling, he's poaching parrots down in South America, and they get on this adventure of, a lifetime. Basically, she basically jumps into her own romance novel, is what happens, kind of begrudgingly, and it's a good romp, good adventure. Danny DeVito's in it, very funny, and of course we've got the sequel. Um, The Jewel of the Nile. It's unfortunate that we did not get a third one. I would like to have seen a trilogy of romancing films. This was definitely a fun romp. It was light. It was not trying to take itself seriously. It was just a fun adventure of what could happen with people from two different worlds colliding in a very bad situation. So that's why it's in my list. All right, at number 6, we have True Lies, another Arnold Schwarzenegger film. You know, the tagline, when he said I do, he never said what he did. This is a great film. Jamie Lee Curtis joins him in this, and they're married, and she doesn't know he's a kind of an action spy agent working for a military government black ops group. And he kind of goes through and he's got these adventures, and she gets whisked up and wanting to be involved in an adventure. And you know, Schwarzenegger kind of finds out, so we get this marriage in turmoil, that kind of stuff. But all the while, he's on a mission, and she gets wrapped up into the whole thing, and it's very funny, great action, very good adventure. It was one of those films that probably shouldn't have worked, but it was probably one of his best pieces of work. So, wonderful film, lots of fun, lots of adventure, lots of butt kicking, and that's what makes for a good action and adventure flick. All right, entering into the top 5, we have The Expendables. Stallone, Statham, Lee, Lundgren, Couture, Austin, Mickey Rourke, Schwarzenegger makes a cameo, Bruce Willis makes a cameo. It's just, this movie, I was waiting forever for it to come out because it's got all of the great action stars of the 80s, plus some great wrestlers and MMA guys of today. And it just makes for a lot of fun. This is a retro throwback to the old 80s action flicks, and it delivers big time. Very funny. All those characters together in one movie, or actors, I guess, characters. I guess they are characters, right? All those guys together in one movie. It's every action lover's dream come true, and I cannot wait for the sequel to come out this summer. All right, now number 4, I've got Casino Royale. You cannot have an action adventure list without having James Bond in it. And I was really torn. It was either this or it was Doctor No. And there's a reason a lot of guys over Britain's probably going to or Bond fans in general are probably about to strangle me right now, but there's a reason that I chose this over Doctor No, because of the opening fight scene and the way that Daniel Craig's Bond is. He's not as suave. I mean, he's suave, but not as suave. He's much more physical. He's much more violent, and he just throws his body out there, and he just slam down, slam down, slam down, keep running, keep running. The opening sequence alone, where he runs that guy down, is phenomenal. Not to mention all the other. I mean, he's just a hard ass, and that's what I like. And he's cool when he needs to be. He's slick, and he's that cocksmith when he needs to be. But he's an all-round badass in this film, and that is why I chose this one over the Doctor No. So Casino Royale, one of the best Bond films to be out in decades, in my opinion. Period. Okay, at number 3, Schwarzenegger is back in Predator with the tagline, "Soon the hunt will begin." And this is borderline science fiction because we're dealing with an alien. But I put it more into the action film group because of this reason. While he is dealing with an alien, the only one that deals with the alien technology is the alien itself. It's about these Marines, this special forces group that's out there and fighting this monster. You could replace the alien with a super Soviet version of Captain America or some super martial artist from Japan, whatever. It's that kind of action, and that's what makes this movie one of the best action movies out there. Just brutal, prime nature, all about survival, and that kicks ass. All right, so my number 2 action adventure movie is The Goonies, brought to you by Steven Spielberg. Now, I know this is a little off for some of the other ones, but let me explain why. This is a true adventure film. We've got a bunch of kids that are going on a treasure hunt to find a pirate ship, okay? And they run into a bunch of gangsters and they're trying to get away from them and they're going through this underground adventure. I mean, it's the epitome of an adventure. What you want to, what you would dream an adventure was as a kid, that's what they put on film here. And that is awesome. Plus, we've got a really great scene where the fat kid is, is it Chunk? Yeah, I think Chunk um, calls up the sheriff and he's, hey, I'm kidnapped by gangsters. And he's like, yeah, that's right. Just like terrorists took over some gym or whatever it was, and then and like the little green monsters that multiply when you get them wet. So they had a great little quip about gremlins in it, which is funny because Corey Feldman is also in Gremlins. He's in both of these movies. But this is just an all-around fun family adventure. This is one of my favorite films as a kid, and when I think about going on adventures, this is the kind of adventure I think of. So that's why it's number 2 in the list. All right, and the number 1 action adventure movie in my list is Raiders of the Lost Ark. The tagline alone tells you the return of the great adventure. This is the epitome of all action adventure movies. Harrison Ford, World War II, fighting Nazis, going on these adventures, cross countries, finding these artifacts, looking for this biblical, mythological piece that Nazis are looking and wanting to find. It's got the occult, it's got action, it's got Nazis, it's got guns, it's got whips, fist punches. It's everything that adventure movies strive to be. When somebody wants to make an adventure movie, they look back at Indiana Jones and say, that's how it's done. So there you go, guys. You can't get any better than that. I dare somebody argue against it, right? So I hope you like this. Look for other videos I'm putting out in this series, as long as along with other videos I've got going on. Leave comments. What are your favorite action movies? What didn't you see on here? What are your favorite adventure movies? Make a video. Subscribe. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll check you guys later.